5-2, and this the daily. It's the daily go get Miz. I'm sure you think it ain't when it is. You think it won't when it is. We are here and we are in motion to do this thing. Taking off fast lane, no coasting, and everything is gonna be alright. We talking about when they treating it like it's your job tonight. Let me explain to y'all what I mean. Are you the type of person that goes over and above the call of duty? Are you the type of person that always works hard? Are you the type of person that always gives extra effort, that always is Johnny on the spot, that's always reliable, that never follows the crowd but always is the trendsetter, especially when it comes to giving effort? You're the type of person that people always call when they need something, when they need some help, when they need something done right. And they know that you're never going to be lazy about it. They know that you're never going to be lazy about it. But you know, there are a lot of people out there like that in this world. And unfortunately, many times they get taken advantage of. A lot of times, the people who put in all the work, the people who do everything, the people who are Johnny on the spot, the people with all the skills, they get treated like crap. Hold on a second. There's something that's a little odd. I'm looking at my monitor. Why does it look like that? Okay, there we go. There we go. I had to scroll up on the screen because I'm like, why am I only seeing my? Anyway, people take good people for granted sometimes. I'm not going to say that good guys always finish last, or that they never win, or that they never get their just due, because that's just not true. There are plenty of good guys out here who get what's coming to them in a good way. There are plenty of them. But there are also a lot of good guys out there who do more than they're supposed to do. They exceed expectations, and they just don't get what they're supposed to receive. And it ain't right. It ain't right. What? It ain't right. Yeah, tonight we want to talk about how come the game gets tight. How come sometimes you gotta fall back. That's whether you're Latino or black or white or whatever. It ain't right. We gonna talk about how you get exposed tonight. I mean, seriously though. Now, I have some examples that we're gonna go over tonight. Some good ones and maybe some new ones. But let me give y'all a quick example. Those of y'all who grew up with multiple siblings, like you grew up with brothers and sisters, simple as that. If you were the type of sibling, if you were the type of brother or sister that always did well in school, you went to school every day, you studied, you did good on exams, tests, quizzes, you know, you were active in school, and you did what you were supposed to do. You didn't get in trouble and stuff like that. So here you are making the honor roll, getting all A's and B's and whatever. You're doing well. Meanwhile, your brothers and sisters, they may have not really cared about school. Maybe they hookied school, cut school, found ways not to have to go to school, played sick and all of that kind of stuff, brought home C's, D's, maybe even failed classes, maybe even failed grades and all of that. And we're not talking about somebody who may have had a learning disability or something like that. We're talking about somebody that just didn't want to put in the work. So you have to ask yourself, if you're the one that's going to school, doing well in school, participating, not getting in any trouble, making sure that you are the model child for your parents, but your parents are treating you just like your brothers and sisters who get C's and D's and F's and stuff like that. Is that fair? Is that fair? Now the question becomes, are you gonna keep doing well in school, staying out of trouble, making sure that everything is okay with you, while everybody else gets treated the same way that you get treated, and they're not putting in any effort? After a while, it's well, first of all, it's not fair. I'm not saying that parents should treat their children differently based on any academic achievement. But we're talking about something bigger than just the grades and the school and all of that. You do what you're supposed to do. Maybe you do your chores also. So you're doing well in school, you're doing your chores, you're staying out of trouble, you're making sure that you keep everything tight. You're being a leader among the rest of your siblings. Maybe you're the oldest, maybe you're in the middle. It doesn't matter. You're setting a good example. Meanwhile, your mom or your dad or both are treating you like you bringing home C's, D's, and F's. Now, what kind of example are your parents setting for you when they give you the same treatment as everybody else who is not even trying? The same treatment as your brothers who keep getting suspended for fighting in school. Your sisters who keep bringing home average or failing grades because they want to chew gum, they want to pass notes, and they just aren't doing what they're supposed to do. You might still do what you're supposed to do, but the example that's being set is just not, it's not right. It's not correct. And somewhere down the line, it's going to cause resentment with you. So that's, and the biggest thing, as far as going with the title of the show tonight, is the biggest thing is that even though you're doing well and and presenting yourself the way you're supposed to be presenting yourself, your parents are telling you, well, yeah, you're supposed to go to school, you're supposed to get good grades, and you're supposed to be a leader. So so it's my job to be a leader and to exceed expectations, but my brothers and sisters can do whatever they want to do. And I guess that's not their job. Well, mom, dad, can you tell me my job? 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 My brother wants to steal and rob. Mom, dad, can you tell me my job? My sister just got pregnant again. Mom, dad, can you tell me my job? Yo, you want to hang out with your friends? Mom, dad, can you tell me my job? All you want to do is get high all day. Again, yo, mom and dad, can you tell me my job? While you're at it, can you tell me theirs too? Somebody gotta talk to you, cause I don't really think that it's fair, and it seems to me that y'all really don't care. Y'all just be treating me like a second class citizen, and then kind of class I'm in. Somebody needs to have a talk. I'm feeling like I wanna take a walk and never come back. I'm grabbing a sack, get my backpack, and I'm out. Yo, somebody better talk to my parents. It's getting kind of apparent that this thing ain't balanced out right. We're talking about it tonight. The same thing when you're on the job. Are you gonna do a good job while they rob? Yo, everybody else is slacking, but that's never the way that you be acting. You gonna do it? Keep the same energy through it. Are you not beating what? My name is Son 7, I do my thing. I wanna be a king, but in order for me to be a king, I gotta climb up through the ranks. I like to think, my coaches and my mentors. Yo, that's what I'm meant for. Yeah, greatness, yeah, it's coming through, baby. I'm talking to you, maybe. You will understand my plan. I'm just trying to get it tight right. Yeah, you understand this. Let me see. Brandon was good. And Nick, Jeremiah, therefore, thus saith the Lord, I will bring evil upon them, which they shall not be able to escape through, though they shall cry unto me, I will not hearken unto them. Okay, all right. And What's that? Ajmie feared us. What's good? What's good? Brandon says Jay-Z gift. I don't know. David Satium. What's up, man? Thanks for coming through, y'all. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. So we're talking about being treated like this is just your job. You know, I mean, really. And speaking of at your job, at the place where you work, if you always are on time, you don't call out, you know, you barely use your PTO time, but when you come to work, you're productive, you're positive, and you're constructive. You are an asset to your company. You make sure that you do the right things, and you know, you don't make trouble. You're not trying to find ways to hurt the company in any type of way. You're not out there scheming and plotting. You are a straight shooter. The type of person, the type of employee that's on the fast track, to being promoted, to having bigger and better things. You keep doing all of this good work, but guess what happens? You don't get promoted. You don't get raises. You don't get bonuses. And everybody who is barely doing any work at work, like, you can clearly see who the productive people are at work. And you can clearly see the people who are taking advantage of the situation or taking advantage of the system. And so, like, just like in a union environment, regardless of whether you do a good job or a bad job, everybody's going to get paid the same rate, depending on their length of tenure and things like that. So what's the use in you doing a great job day in and day out, you're doing a great job, and you're not getting any perks, you're not getting any boosts, you're not getting any recognition, and all of your coworkers, they're basically letting you work around them. Like, don't worry about me. Like, yeah, let Daniel do all the work. Yeah, Dan got it. We gonna take we only have a half an hour break, and that's not enough time for us to eat. So we're gonna take 45 minutes to 50 minutes of a break. But Daniel will come back. He always comes back from break at his time. As a matter of fact, he has no travel time. So, like, Daniel doesn't even, he clocks out as soon as he clocks out for lunch as soon as he stops working. We don't clock out until we start eating, until we get all the way to our place where we're going to eat, and we put the first piece in our mouth. We don't clock out until then. But Daniel will be back on the job protecting us while we still at lunch, because that's just the type of dude that Daniel is. He a good dude, man. He's a good dude. But man, he be giving his all to this company. They ain't paying me enough. They ain't paying me enough. They ain't paying me enough to act like I would call a bluff. Yeah, life is tough, and I ain't giving my life to this place. They better get out of my face. Yo, I'm doing the thing. I'm making sure that I make the bell ring. But they better have my money right. I have my money right. I'ma go to my union rep. What? Yo, shop steward, come to my rescue. What? They trying to write me up. Yo, save me. Yeah, we going to arbitration, baby. What? Do you know what I'm saying? Do you understand the essence of what we're talking about tonight? All right, let's get it popping, man. Let's get it popping. This is the Daily Go-Getterism Show. Excuse me. I'm your host, Sun752. I am your host, Sun752, a.k.a. Omar with the rrrr. And if you can't say Omar with the rrrr, well, then you just say Omar with the R. We are talking about being treated like it's just like you're just doing your job. Like, just doing my job. Y'all not paying me for just doing my job. Y'all paying me for going over and above. Hold on, man. Let me plug in this mic. Let's get the mic popping. Hold on, son. Hold on, y'all. We good? All right. There we go. There we go. There we say. The way it's supposed to. Y'all good? Am I coming through? Am I coming through? Am I sounding right? Excuse me, y'all. Excuse me. Let me get rid of some of the perspiration here. You know what I mean? I may be at this hour, I may be working harder than your average content creator. You know, so pardon me. I don't know if it's gonna result in better and more money or perks or anything like that. YouTube don't care about me, but it's okay. It's okay. Okay. Oh, so Dave, you pronounce it Saturn? Okay, Saturn. Okay, cool. Appreciate you leaving a like, man. Matter of fact, ring the alarm. Thank you. Please, y'all. Please hit the like button. Please hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, this is the Daily Go Getimism Show. I'm your host, Sun752, aka Omar with the. All right, let's get it popped. And we're talking about being treated like you're only doing your job. Being treated like you're only doing your job. So you putting in all this extra effort because you care. You know, people who care get the, do they get the bad end of the stick? They get the bad end of the gun all the time, don't they? People who care. Has anybody within the sound of my voice ever been let down because they care? Because you care. That means you did a little bit more. Because you care. You looked into people's needs more than just their wants. And you made sure that you fulfilled their needs so they wouldn't be needy because you cared. But did you get treated like you cared? No. All of my parents out there, my good parents, especially parents who are separated from their children, not necessarily estranged from their children, but for the parents who are separated from their children. So you may be separated because of a divorce. You may be separated because of a breakup, or whatever the case may be. You may not be the custodial parent. I'm talking to a lot of my men out here, and a lot of fathers out here, single fathers, get a bad rap. Then there's always somebody trying to say that we're not doing enough, especially the black single father. The black father that is not in the home, boy, do we get a bad rap. Bad, real bad. You understand what I'm saying? So, and I'm not saying that only black fathers get a bad rap, but here's the thing. Black fathers never get a good rap. We are not known for fatherhood. The most famous father that we are aware of was a TV dad named Bill Cosby. It's kind of, am I lying? When we see our major athletes out here, when, they score or win championships and stuff, they be like, hi, mom. Well, they used to be, I don't know about nowadays, but they used to be like, hey, hi, mom. That kind of shit. It was all about the mother. No shade, no jealousy, anything like that. But black men are not known to stereotypically to be attentive fathers who are there for their children. So for the ones who are, I'm not saying that they should be rewarded, but they should be respected. But what happens when you have an example like this? Let's say you have a baby by a woman who already has children. Maybe she already had 2 children by, from previous relationships or previous marriage or something like that. And, so you have a baby with her. Maybe y'all were together. Maybe y'all got married. Maybe things didn't work out. But you're going to make sure that you are co-parenting. So maybe you were raised in the type of family that makes sure that you handle your business as a parent. So you don't abandon your children, no matter what the circumstances are with the other parent. You make sure that you have a good relationship, a good loving, and what's the word I'm looking for? When you raise your children, nurturing. You have a good, loving, and nurturing relationship with your children. So let's say not only do you make sure that your child is financially taken care of, whether it's through child support or whatever the case may be, but you also make sure that outside of the financial support, you're there emotionally, you're there physically, you're there recreationally, you're there educationally, you're there. And let's say outside of whatever financial agreement you may have with the mother, you you pay that and whatever the child needs outside of that, like clothes or um kids today, we like back in the day we wanted toys. Kids today they want gadgets. So you make sure that the iPads are provided, the cell phones are provided, the whatever is that they need, PlayStation 5s, the Xbox Ones, you take care of all of that and anything else, you doing this. But your baby mom is making you feel like, well, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do as a father. Well, you may be right. You know what, Ma, you're right. I am supposed to do that as a father. But your other kids' fathers are not doing that. So I'm doing it for one, mine, my bloodline, and I'm also doing it for your two. Just because I know that their fathers aren't doing it. They're not participating. They're not reliable. They're not productive. They're not constructive. So you treating me like, yeah, you just supposed to do that. Meanwhile, they're not doing that. And I don't even know if they get any backlash or if they are around or give a shit in order to even care about this concept. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, we got a problem here. Daniel says, damn, this sounds like my job. Man, you know how, listen, man, these companies don't care about you. They don't. Like, I refuse to not do a good job, but I understand that the rewards may not match the effort. Daniel says, they even tell me to go slower and let the young guy Fido do it. Wow. He says, true, and they take advantage. I see exactly what you're saying. I hear you. Gianluigi Buffon says, beware of the dreaded. Damn. Let's see. Lepidodendron? Lepidodendron? I'm sorry. Lepidodendron tree? Don't panic. If you've seen a lepidodendron tree, and Daniel says it's because they don't care to even see the extra. You do know. Okay. Gianluigi says tree can walk. Please be careful. Daniel says like I ask a question and see if they need something like you said. Oh, said fulfill their needs and they get angry at me. Yeah. The most productive person at work doesn't always get the spoils, man. It's messed up. Timothy Grace says, I like turtles. Well, good for you. You like turtles. I see what kind of night this is going to be. All right, y'all. Please do me a favor. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Share the show. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. All right. So we are talking about being treated like you're just doing your job. So we're talking about when you go over and above the call of duty.
over and above, over and beyond the call of duty, exceeding expectations by exponents. You're doing all that you're supposed to do, and you're doing more than what they're paying for, and more than they could have ever expected somebody to do. But they're still shitting on you. They're still treating you like everybody else is doing what you're going to do. Now, I asked this poll question for a reason. The reason I asked this poll question because I wanted to see where people were with this. Okay. Do you keep working with the same energy when you are the only one who is trying hard? Now, this is interesting. Now, it's only 8 votes so far. But 62% says, yes, I keep the same energy. So one other person says, no, I'll match the average energy. Okay, in other words, if ain't nobody else working hard, I ain't working hard. Well, not as hard. I get it. One person says, I work hard for myself, not others. Now, let me make sure y'all understand what I meant by that, because the way it reads may not be the way that you understood it. What I mean by I work hard for myself, not others. In other words, I work hard because I like to work hard, because I'm born to work hard, because I was raised and taught and tutored and mentored and coached to work hard. So I work hard. So no matter what everybody else is doing, I'm going to work hard. That's what I meant by that. And one person says, I do more no matter what. Yeah. Well, that's pretty self-explanatory. I do more no matter what. This is a totally interactive show. If you would like to call into the show and speak your piece, put it all on the line, get it off your chest, relieve your mind, you can call in. The number to call is area code 267-874-1949. That's the number to call. I said 267-874-1949. Yes, y'all. I said 267-874-1949. Yeah, get on the line. I said 267-874-1949. Yeah, get your shine, baby. Get your shine, baby. Get your shine, baby. Get your shine, baby. 267-874-1949, baby. Call 267-874-1949, and you won't be on camera, but you will be heard. Your audio will come through, and listen, man. I give you a chance to talk. I don't have phone screeners or anything like that, so there's no censorship. You can say whatever you want to say. You can get it off your chest. Now, you don't have to call in, but if you like to call, if you want to call in, if you really have something that you want to say, and you got to get it off your chest, man. I mean, look, the number is there, and the ear is here. The number's there, the ears are here. So yeah. How many of you have been in this situation besides me and Daniel? Besides me and Dan, Lieutenant Dan, how many of y'all have been in this situation? Where you're working harder than everybody else. You're trying harder than everybody else. You're putting in more effort than anybody else. You're more conscientious than anybody else. Or should I say everybody else? But you're still getting treated like that's what you're supposed to do. So we use the example of being at work and working hard and nobody else working all of that hard, or at least they're not trying as hard as you are, but everybody else is still getting paid more, getting promoted more. I guess it is like they say, it's not what you know, it's who you know, right? You done got yourself caught up in it's not what you know, it's who you know situation. That ain't right, man. It ain't right. It ain't right. But what are you going to do? I'll tell you something. I've been a manager at every job I've ever had since I was a teenager. And one thing I've always told any of my employees, because a lot of young cats have the type of mentality like, well, I'm not going to be doing this for the rest of my life, so this is just like a temporary stop. And so, it doesn't really matter how I do here because this is not going to determine my future. Because sometimes, cats are in school and this is just a job that they are using, to put a couple of dollars in their pockets, be able to afford some beer or some, party, take their dates, take a girl out on a date or something like that. Or, have some pocketbook money if you're a female. But I've always told anybody who worked under me, work as hard as possible and always learn everything about a job that you are on, because you take your skills with you. You take your skills wherever you go. People can take your job from you. People can set you up. Owners can dislike you and they can fire you. But what they can't do is they can't take away your training. They can't take away your knowledge. They can't take away your wisdom. They can't take away your skills. And they can't take away your ambition. You take all of those things with you. So whether you think you're going to work for a company for a long time or a short time, you make sure that you learn everything that you need to learn. You make sure that you give it your all, and you make sure that any skills, any attributes, any awards, any certificates, you make sure that you are eligible and that you receive all of those things. Because every job and any job that you have is an audition for the next job. That's an audition for the next stop. So it feels really good to go to an interview or an audition and know what you're talking about, and be able to answer questions that are asked of you by whoever's interviewing you. There's nothing like knowing the answers, the real answers, not the fluff, not the, I'll just say whatever I have to say in order to get the job, but to actually be on your shit and know what you're talking about. There is nothing like the feeling of that. There is nothing like being able to step up to the plate and earn your money and know that you were the best person for the job. There's no feeling like that. And the way that you get to that point is by making sure that you don't let people play around with your ego. So even if, or should I say, play around with your ego by making you feel like, yeah, you're only doing enough when you know that you're doing more, when you know that you're going over and above, when you know that you've been knocking it out the box, when you know that you've been swinging for the fences and you've been knocking the ball out of the park. Shoot, you can let all of your peers, they can work how they want to work. They can be as lazy as they want to be. They can slack off all they want to slack off. They can goof off as much as they want to goof off. You don't follow that example. One thing my late great father used to always say, that you get good at anything that you practice at. You get good at anything you practice at. So if you practice at being a slacker, you'll get good at it. If you practice being lazy, you'll get good at it. If you practice only working when the boss comes around, you'll get good at it. The same way as if you practice staying out of trouble, you'll get good at it. If you practice doing the right things and following instructions, you'll get good at it. If you practice learning more and expanding yourself and growing and learning and improving yourself, you'll get good at it. And somebody somewhere will pay for that. Somebody somewhere will pay for that. You know how we say, I'll help anybody who will help themselves. I don't know if you say it, but I know I say it. I'll help anybody who will help themselves. Well, you notice that a lot of people who need help haven't helped themselves. But at least they are humble enough to ask for help for you. But have you ever helped somebody? And I mean really, really helped somebody who kind of gave you their ass to kiss after you helped them? Have you ever helped somebody who, after not showing you any appreciation for the help that you gave them, they just sort of said like, well, you get paid for this. You're supposed to do this. You ever do it? I know what it's like. So when they ask you for help, you were Johnny on the spot, and you were the most helpful person. You were like Jesus to them because they were in need. And people get humble and really appreciative when they are in need. But a lot of people start to change and put on the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde look when they get what they want. And they get what they want, and now they act like you didn't give it to them. They got what they wanted from you, and now they want to act like you're not the one who gave it to them. What do y'all know about that? They got what they wanted from you, but now they want to act like you didn't give them anything. Sad state of affairs, baby. Sad state of affairs. And this is what shitting on somebody is all about. This here is what shitting on somebody is all about. You gave somebody something that they needed from you. They let you know that they needed it. You provided it. And all you asked for was a thank you, recognition, appreciation. And they tell you, well, that's what, hold on. They might gaslight you. And I hate using the word like gaslight. What up, my dude? Troy Diesel is in the house. What's good, my dude? What up? You already know. Feel like a real man should. But yeah, they might gaslight you. And after you gave them what they asked for from you, they told you that you didn't do it for them, you did it for yourself. Let me repeat this for the people in the back. Let me pour out this scenario for the brothers who ain't here. Let me pour a little something out for the brothers who ain't here. I said that they needed something from you and they asked for it from you, and you gave it to them. You provided it for them. Whatever it was, whether it was money, whether it was help, whether it was support, whether it was assistance, whether it was networking, whether it was a connection, whatever it was, you gave it to them because because they needed it and they asked you for it. And when they got it from you, instead of saying, though, thank you so much for what you did. Oh my gosh, you really helped me out. You really got me out of a jam. You really saved my life. Instead of saying that, they said to you, well, you ain't really do it for me. You did it for yourself. Because you just like to seem like the big man. You like to seem, you want to be like, you want to present yourself as the Superman of everybody. Like they looked you in your eye and said that bullshit. Or maybe they said it over the phone. So they looked you in your ear and said this bullshit. And this happens, man. It does. This kind of stuff happens. It's the illest thing. It really is. It is the illest thing. You provided a need, and they told you that you did it for you did it for yourself, not them. Well, let me try to understand how this would work. Since YouTube is playing with me tonight, they obviously ain't giving me no algorithm. They like, you ain't getting in the algorithm tonight. We ain't sending nobody to tonight. Make sure y'all hold on. Let me orchestrate this to y'all so you really understand. If you tell me, like, yo, son, I really, really, really need $100. I'm short. I'm hurting. Things is bad out here. You know what I mean? I need $10. I need $100, man. You know what I'm saying? I need $100 to get me out of this jam. And as soon as I get the money, I'm going to pay you back this $100. But right now, $100 is everything to me. $100 is everything I need right now. $100 is pretty much my Jesus. I need a Jesus C note. C no Jesus. 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 Okay, so you give him the $100. You go in your account or you cash app him the money. You gave him the $100. 1 week go by, 2 weeks go by, 3 weeks go by, 4 weeks go by, 1 month goes by, 2 months go by. We up to like 6 months went by. They haven't paid you money back, as haven't even been around. Picture that, yo. You know how people, when they owe, they don't come around you no more. Yo, shit gets real. Tell you how you feel. Yo, a bunch of feelings is what I'm about to spill. But I'm going to tell you one thing. They ain't going to treat you like you was the king. They told you. All right, let me just ask this question. How is it that you gave somebody $100 and it was for yourself? How is it that you gave somebody $100 and they told you that you didn't give them $100 for them? You gave it for yourself. I'm like, well, but I don't have $100 no more, and you do. So how is it for me again? Because you just like to be the kind of person you like for everybody to see that you help people or that you will do something for people. So it gives you that boost. It feeds your ego. So me giving you $100 fueled my ego. After you was crying, begging, implying, oh, well, ain't that some shit? T. Carey Wright, morning, noon, and night. It's always great to have my peoples going directly into your sight. And Fraggle Rock Squared says, we got one of those musical instruments and my kids play it all the time. It's so annoying. I love that instrument. I love that instrument. Yes, I do. Okay. I'm just saying. Hit the like button, y'all. Hit the like button. Share the show. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. Can somebody tell me how you can lend somebody money and it be for yourself instead of them? I just want to figure this out because maybe somebody else knows something that I don't know. Plenty of people know things that I don't know, right? But I'm just trying to figure this out. If I give you something like money, how can it be for me? Oh man, allergies want to act up now. Why now? Hold on. I'm gonna fix this with the quickness. I'm not suffering tonight. No. I won't be advertising, but I'm gonna tell y'all, I'm about to drop this Zyrtec. Yes, I am. Be my Zyrtec tonight. Whatever you want from me, give me you everything. Be my Zyrtec tonight. Hold on, let me drop this thing like mescaline. Well, it's going to take a minute to start working, but it'll be worth it in the end. That's what I know. It'll be worth it in the end. Let me see. T. Carey Wright says, if I'm doing it for me, then teach me a lesson and give it back and give back the $100. That is a perfect comeback. That's a perfect comeback. Now, a lot of people won't verbalize that you're doing it for yourself, but some people will do it. Some people, I've seen people do it. I've had people do it to me. And like I said, I hate to use words like gaslight because I'm pretty sure that I know how to use it in a sentence, but probably the essence of what it means is probably lost in some psychology book. So let me look up gaslighting. What is the definition of gaslighting?
Here's the definition of gaslight. Manipulate someone using psychological methods into questioning their own sanity or powers of reasoning.
Gaslighting. Manipulate someone using psychological methods into questioning their own sanity. So somebody who tries to make you feel stupid or like you don't know what you know. Like, yo, you were supposed to be on punishment and I saw you at the park. Nah, mom, you ain't see me at the park. Well, did you have your glasses on? Because you ain't see me at the park. Like, say what? Like you didn't. Yeah, I wasn't at the park. I ain't go to no park. Like, boy, what? Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. I told you that I saw you at the park and you wasn't supposed to be at the park because you supposed to be on punishment. But mom, I wasn't at the park. You must not have had on the right glasses because somebody like my friend Ricky, he looked like me and he had on the same shirt as I had on today. So maybe you saw him because he do be at the park, but I wasn't at the park. Has anybody ever tried to do that to you? I have had people try to do that to me, and they will stick to the script. They will not come up off of that character. Nate says, who does thine represent? I represent thine family and thine hood. I represent thine hood. Philly all day. North Philly all day. Germantown all day. Germantown, born and raised. North Philly currently. TK Wright says, like when my ex told me that I was a quitter because I broke up with him after he cheated for the 6th time. As the rappers in the 80s used to say, it's like that, y'all. It's like that, y'all. It's like that. It's like that, y'all. And so you understand the words that I'm about to say. Yo, they be trying to play you. Yeah, they want to play. Today they came around my crib and I tell me this is not even the place that I live. And I was like, what are you talking about? That's my house. They said it's not your house. It's time to get out. You ain't paying the rent. You ain't paying the mortgage. You ain't doing none of that shit. For real. I'm telling you, legit. Yo, in a minute, yo, the cops coming, the sheriff coming. Yo, you going to be, running. Yo, this is not your place. You better pick up the couch and all to clear out the space. Yo, your kids can't live here. It's time for you to get up and hit the road, my dad. Yo, it's time for you to clear it on out. Yeah, we about to air it on out. TK Wright said that I stayed with him before just so I could look good, but I was really a quitter. Damn. Damn. Huh? Yeah, that seems... Yeah, that's not your average. But you know, on the cerebral side of things, I could see somebody trying to play somebody like that. Because it's pretty, how do they say? It's good work if you can find it. It's good work if you can find it. So if you can find somebody that will allow you to play them like that, then like a flute, they will be played. Somebody calling on in. Yeah.
You have a call
what?
From.
All right. My brother, my mellow, my man, why don't you get on the mic and won't you take it to stand? What's up, man?
My name is Troy Diesel. I'm on the live stream. I'm trying not to be mean because I'm on the scene.
Yeah, I felt that bars like a motherfucker. Word.
No,
I'm ready to cross my arms to that.
Real. What's going on, man?
Feeling like a real man should, man. You already know. So
yeah, I agree with a lot of things. You was just saying a bunch of stuff. I was listening to you, and 1,000% I agree with, man. You know, but it's amazing how they do it, whether it's man or woman. You know, you do for people and you do it from your heart. And then when you do things for people, they do things for you, and they want you to thank you or I appreciate it. And you say everything. I humbly thank you for this. And for all that, you're so amazing. You know, you gotta talk like almost Shakespearean today, yes.
For art thou amazing.
For art thou, you are the greatest of thy, and without you, there would be no heaven or earth. God is I'm so happy that God's taken my rib and needed you. Thank you for art thou, God.
Saith the nigga. Saith the nigga. But anyway.
And then when you do it, damn, you can't even say thanks. Oh, you're supposed to do that. That's what you're supposed to do.
Supposed to do it.
And it's the same thing that they just did. You know what I'm saying? And it's and no appreciation. You know, it's nothing wrong with things that you're supposed to do and being appreciative, especially when things that you don't normally do, and then you go out your way to do it.
Well, what about when they don't do it? What about when you really are the only one that contributes? Let me give you a scenario. Now I don't know if you were on earlier when I was talking about how, like, when you might have a child by somebody who already has children, and you may be separated from the woman, maybe y'all not together no more, but you taking care of your child, you holding it down for your child, not just on the child support part of it, but you make sure that if your child or your kids if they need sneakers, if they need clothes, the money besides the child support, you making sure that you handling that too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And because the other kids' fathers may not have a relationship with their kids or the mom, you take care of them too, because you don't want your child to be, you don't want them. You buy your child a PlayStation 5. What you gonna tell them? Your brothers and sisters can't play? You know what I mean?
Then you got to either buy another one or get an extra controller.
And I have actually seen a scenario like this where I am no bullshit. It freaked me out where a boy he literally had a PlayStation 3, and he wouldn't let none of his brothers and sisters play with the PlayStation. And I'm like, and so the mom allowed that. But anyway, so like I said, you taking you taking care of everybody. You're not complaining. You know what I mean? You see a need, you took care of a need. And then while you holding it down, does the mom ever say, listen, I appreciate you, looking out for my other youngins, you know what I mean? Maybe birthdays, holidays, whatever. You know what I mean? You looking out for the cookout. And but bitter baby mom, ain't no thank you. Ain't no I appreciate you. Ain't no you a good father, you know what I mean? The kids are lucky to have somebody around you. There's none of that. She give you well, yeah, I mean, you they father, you supposed to do that. That's what dads do. And you like, well, the other dads, I don't see them doing this. They ain't nowhere to be found. Either you ain't speaking to them or they ain't speaking to you. So really, I shouldn't be speaking to you, but I'm not trying to have that situation going on with my child. So, but I'm just supposed to do this? Because it could be like maybe you have children or another child outside of her. So y'all was blending families. Do she take care of yours? Do she even ask about your other kids? You know what I mean? When you get around, let's say you get with a new woman, and let's say you are around anywhere between 35 and 40 years old, there's a good chance that you already have children and that you're going to get with a woman who already has children. So if y'all separate or whatever, now you're going to see the behavior of both of y'all. You know what I mean? So she might not hold it down for yours. She only cares about hers. And you might be the only resource for hers. But does she say, listen, without you, we wouldn't, things would be messed up. It wouldn't be a good situation. I really appreciate you. Even though things didn't work out between me and you, I'm glad to have you in my life. I'm glad that, the kids are able to have that influence that you're giving them. There ain't none of that. And you can best believe when your other kids' birthdays and holidays, whatever y'all celebrate, when that shit come up, she ain't giving you shit.
Well,
Selfish, selfish
to
mom.
you that you're preaching to thy choir, and thy choir you're preaching to.
Thy choir singeth him.
Like him is thy choir.
Mm. Oh shit! All right, all
Because
right.
for art thou, I finished through this.
You did it.
I finished through this.
Oh yeah, that's rough, man.
And this shit is roughish. And I try to polish myself through this.
Okay.
It's like even it was a guy last year, I think. I don't know, it was last year or the year before. It was a guy that went to the store and got his kids something to eat and didn't get the other kids something to eat. You know what I mean? And the girl, the baby mom, said, "What? Well, what about my other two kids? I don't know if you've seen it on YouTube or."
Oh, was it the McDonald's, John?
Yeah.
Yeah, that I remember. It was a lot of controversy. It was a skit.
Yeah.
But I know what you told. Yeah.
But even with that skit, there is a reality to it.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because if any man gets in a relationship with a woman, right? That's a package deal. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you get into that relationship and that man is that other father is not there at all. Let's say if the father is deceased. You understand what I'm saying? You try to be there for that child. That's what some men do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And if y'all should break up, especially if that kid is innocent. They have nothing to do with what y'all go through. Especially if you've been in that kid's life for almost 9 months, and that kid is now almost barely an adult.
Mm-hmm.
So when you sit back and you make those decisions and you try to, you at work and you got to get insurance. You put money on your insurance. You go out there, you buy them sneaks clothes, teach them how to do this, teach them how to do that.
Hold up, back up a little bit. You put the kids on your insurance.
On your insurance, yeah.
Okay. You go
out there.
I just wanted to, I said you can go ahead. I just wanted to make sure that everybody stopped at that light.
Yeah.
Because that's not a small thing. I'm sorry. That shit come right out. It's not a small thing. That shit come out your check. You know what I mean? That shit affect your bottom line.
Yeah, the bottom line. Because if it's just you don't gotta pay a lot. But when you put your wife down and you put her kids down, the bottom line is the bottom line. That takes that price up on your insurance.
You think?
Yes. So when it gets to that point, all of a sudden, there's no appreciation for that. There's no, damn, this motherfucker put on insurance. Don't put him on insurance. You know what I mean? And there's no appreciation for that. You can never say, well, you ain't never do nothing for me. I ain't never do nothing for you. I did the biggest thing for you. I assumed responsibility for a child that wasn't mine, even when the father didn't do shit. The late nights of helping with the homework, the school projects, Christmas, birthdays, even when she didn't deserve shit, I did that part. When he didn't come pick her up and she was crying, I did a daddy-daughter day for it because that punk motherfucker didn't want to come get her. You don't, some things you just don't understand how people don't remember things. I hate a person with an absent mind. When you have an absent mind, you don't know how to appreciate things. You're never supposed to sit back and assume people supposed to do shit. If you clean the kitchen, if somebody clean the kitchen after you dirty it, there's an appreciation for that. If somebody goes upstairs and if you go upstairs and you see, if you just got done a hard day's work and your woman home and you go in the bathroom and you see the bathroom dirty, you clean the bathroom, wash the tub out, mop the floor, do all that shit, clean the inside of the toilet, clean the sink, sweep and mop the floor. There's an appreciation from that day. He just came home from work and done that.
It's like if you let's say you live in an area where it snows in wintertime.
Mm-hmm.
And your neighbor looks out and either shovels your walk or they provide salt, they salt your walkway and all of that shit. What you gonna tell your neighbor? But you only salted my walkway or shovel my side to make yourself feel good. Or as a matter of fact, you only did it so it wouldn't look like you only shoveled your side. So if the other neighbors come by, they won't see that you just shoveled your side and didn't look out. So that's the only reason you did it. But thanks anyway. People will do this kind of shit.
Yeah.
Like to tell you that you're doing something good, something nice for yourself and not the person that's receiving it. And this is, you know what, Troy, this is why, I swear to God, this is why I don't subscribe to when people say that when you forgive somebody, you've forgiven them for yourself, not the other person. This is exactly the fuck why I don't subscribe to that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, I forgave them for me, not them. Now I know what they mean. They trying to say that you're forgiving them for yourself so you can let that go, so you can free yourself, so you can ease your mind, so you don't carry around all of that negative energy and baggage. I get it. What if you don't carry that shit around though?
Right.
What if they just don't deserve to be forgiven? Because if you forgive them, they will look at that as validation that they didn't really do nothing wrong. How about that?
Right.
Yeah, and there are too many people who feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they forgave me. See, I told you I ain't really do shit to them anyway. See, now I can start fucking up again. Donald Trump is in office right now. Why? Because motherfuckers did not get him up out of there. And they validated everything all of those lies, all of that deception, all of that bullshit. Electing him again validated every last part of it. And now you getting the bad end of the pistol.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it takes me out because it doesn't mean it's just like a zero relationship. I mean, like even with your kids do the same thing. As a kid, you suppose as a father and a parent to your children, as they're growing up, there's a drop off when you're supposed to stop providing everything that you did provide for them as they were when they were babies. Then they became young adults. Or teenagers. Then they became young adults. There's a drop off on it. But when you don't do certain things, and you turn back around and you got to hear, well, you're supposed to do that. You my father. No, I'm not supposed to do that. If I've been on my feet for 12 to 15 hours, and then I'll be at work the next day at 12 o'clock? Like this guy in the house from working from 6 to 6 to 9? I'm supposed to come home and watch my grandson? No, the fuck I'm not. No, I'm not. No, what you're supposed to do is have an understanding that I'm not supposed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to be respectful and say, well, Dad might be tired. He's been on his feet all day. People don't have well, my mom would do it. Well, that's your mother. You know what your mother do for a living? She sits down at the computer and she talks on the phone and call people and using her mind. There's a difference between sitting at a computer all day using your mind and using your hands on the computer and calling people on the phone. And when you have downtime, there's a lot more downtime than work.
Mm.
But with me as a chef, I have to have cardio. I have to walk around this kitchen 150 to 200, maybe more, just 150 steps a day, not even a day. That's 150 steps every 15 minutes or more. You know, and then you turn back around, you got to deal with attitudes. And it's not even the attitudes of other cooks, it's attitudes from the supervisor. Because when that supervisor is weak and what he do, and you try to take some of the burden off of him, and no matter how much the burden you take off him, his insecurities shows because he can't do what you can do, and then he wants you to drop off of what you can do. No, don't do it so much. Don't do that good. Don't be great at what you do, because I'm not great at what I do. And if you're not here, and I got to do it, it's not going to be the same. Then learn how to do it the same, or learn how to do it better. And people don't understand that. That's why at your job, you're in the position you were, because, like you said, every job you've been at, you've been a manager.
Mm-hmm.
So before your work ethic speaks for itself. Your work ethic trickles down not just from what you do, but it came from either when you see your pop doing things, your mother doing things. And then it trickles down to your children.
Yeah, well, one thing my parents always, I was never taught to be selfish. I did learn how to be selfish, but it wasn't because I was taught that. You know what I mean? But I'll say this: when we start talking about this whole concept of somebody treating you like it's just your job to do this, that, and the third, it goes in so many different places, because this can happen at home with your family. It can happen in your marriage. It can happen in your relationships. It can happen in friends with friendships. It can, somebody might tell you that's what friends are for. It's an old saying, right? Well, that's what friends are for.
All of a sudden, you Elton John, D.I. Ward, Gladys Knight.
And Stevie Wonder. And Stevie Wonder. Don't forget that.
My fault, Stevie.
I don't know if you know. I don't know if you know that the original version was by Rod Stewart.
Never knew that.
Yeah, that was they actually covered it. Yeah, Rod Stewart. I don't know if you remember this movie that came out in 1982. It was called Night Shift, and it starred Michael Keaton and Henry Winkler.
It was a comedy. Yeah, I seen it.
Yeah,
I remember.
Well, the song "That's What Friends Are For" was actually the last song that they played while they was running the credits at the end.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I never knew that.
Mm-hmm. That's why when they redid it, I was like, I like the original verse. You know what I'm saying? It's all right. But then it grew on me. But anyway, what I'm saying is, they tell you that's what friends are for. And that could be, you may have lied on the stand, took the stand and lied for your friends so they could be free. That was that your job to do that? Yeah. Or you acted as an alibi for your friend. You straight lied. Mm. They guilty of what they were accused of or suspected of. Or you was the wingman. You home with your woman. Lying, saying that you was out with your man. Like, oh yeah, we was hanging out. We was at the pool hall. You was at home with your wife and your kids, sleep in a motherfucker 2-3 in the morning. Yeah, you lying to his woman, like, yeah, I just got home. He just dropped me off. Yeah, he was with me. He was with me the whole night. We wasn't looking at no big booty freaks. I remember when we wasn't looking at them. Mm-hmm. We caught a flat tire at the bowling alley. But yeah, so it's not always your job. And it's a funny thing because when you are somebody's wingman, they literally treat you like that's your job. Like you getting paid from that. Like, yeah, well, I would do the same thing for you. But yeah, that's cool that you would do the same thing for me. The thing is, I wouldn't put you in a position to have to do it.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
You know, if my wife calls your phone, you know what to do. If she calls your phone and asks you, was we? I had a boy do that to me before.
Mm-hmm.
You either call my phone and text you, say, look, if my wife call your phone or text you, I was with you all night and I fell asleep at the crib because I was drunk.
Yeah.
So now what you're doing is you want me to dumb down my morals to benefit. You cheating. So, and that's even when people do, you know, even when people do crimes and they get in jail and you know he did the crime, but you got to put your morals to the side because it doesn't benefit if their family or they're your wife's family, if it doesn't benefit their bottom line or her bottom line for what she's dealing with, then you're held accountable. So you mean to tell me you can't be there for me while my brother going through what he going through, or while my dad going through what he goes through?
Mm-hmm.
And after you do all that part, there's no appreciation behind it. Not just from her, but from the person that's in trouble.
Right.
There's no thanks, man. Look, man, no matter what, I appreciate you being there.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it makes you do what you just said when you said you have sometimes you got to be selfish. You develop being selfish because your mom and dad taught you how to be to give and you know, to do this, to do that, right? You had to develop into being selfish because you've seen how people treated you.
Listen, man, you got to protect yourself at all times. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate, but you do. You got to protect yourself at all times because people will swallow you whole. People don't give a shit about you, and I don't like to look at the world that way. But you know, you gotta deal with people on a case by case basis. But when we talk about somebody, you know, or we're actually talking about used to being treated when you are used to being treated like it's just your job. You may have actually accepted that shit. I know people who have. You know what I mean? They don't even they don't recognize. I mean, being humble is one thing, but not even recognizing that you doing all the work and nobody else is doing shit. And sometimes those are the people who be complaining. Like, yeah, I got to do everything. I always got to be the one. I always got to be the one that look out. I always got to be blah, 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 blah. Now, of course, sometimes they put themselves, well, a lot of times they put themselves in that position, but still, that doesn't mean that they shouldn't, you know, they shouldn't get anything or that they shouldn't be shown any appreciation, thanks or anything. But you still gotta watch who you empty out your bags for, who you decrease your bank account for. You got to. Sometimes you can't always be the number one option, and sometimes you know people put themselves in a position where they have taken on the role of just doing their job. Now, the poll question, when I'm asking, but let me just ask you, if you're on a job where you're working hard, you know, maybe you're working hard for a purpose. You know, maybe you're trying to get a promotion, maybe you're trying to get some overtime, maybe whatever the case may be, you know, but you're doing a damn thing. If you see everybody around you not really contributing, not really doing shit, do you keep on working hard like you've been working?
Well, and that's a good question, tremendous question. And you know, like I said about your topics last week, there was from a scale of 1 to 10. Them topics last week was a 15. and you're doing it again this week because this touches on things that I want to on jobs. Like I was working at the Sheraton Suites at the airport here in Philly, and this chef, his name's Chef Mike, cool as shit. You know what I mean? If there was a white version of me, this would be him. Because we like the same type of music. He walking around singing out loudly, New Edition, Jodeci, Donald Jones. He knew all these songs, but he also played his rock music, our rock music. It's like I think that if you was around him, all three of us would all be cool as shit. Sure, we'd be thorough. Mm. So when I got there, I showed him what I was capable of doing, and he wound up giving me a promotion.
Okay.
So when for me, the first thing I told him to do is that, listen, my job as a sous chef is to keep you out of the kitchen so you can do your paperwork. If I need you, I'll come get you. So when he come in the kitchen, I'm like, yo, what's up? What you need? All right, I got it. Go ahead. You know, so and he respected me so much. He pulled me off like, yo, Troy, man, I appreciate everything you do around here, man. You know, our scores is all the way up and this, that, and the other. And the people appreciate you. The people giving you emailing us, telling you how good of a sous chef you are, how personable you are with you. Some people told us, some of the guests even say you prayed for their child. Because the child had 15, 16 surgeries and they were staying here. So, I mean, that's the appreciation I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. I'm not doing it because I want you to pat me on the back. I'm doing it because this is me. This is my work ethic. Your work ethic is, your word and your work ethic is all you got sometimes. So your upbringing shows your upbringing. When you go to that job or when you're working, I don't care who's not doing their part. I want to keep doing me. But see, when you have supervisors that see you busting your ass and grinding, and you in there the whole time, but everybody else disappearing and you're not looking for them. And that's the shit that they get underneath my skin. So you see, as soon as I leave the kitchen, you want to come try to look at the wreck for me. And I'm only going for what, 5, maybe 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. The other person going for an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours. And you don't look for them. Or they're sitting down for 45 minutes to an hour on the clock. And when I'm sitting down, what you doing? You leaving at this certain time? Now I might leave a half hour after the time I say I was gonna leave. Oh, what you gonna milk? You gonna be milking the clock? Mm-hmm. Motherfucker, you just seen this guy right here sit down for 3 hours damn near. So now it makes you not want to go above and beyond. But the thing is that I'm not gonna fuck on my bottom line to benefit your bottom line. So when you see me sitting down, you must didn't see me running around this kitchen the whole morning. Running. And that's the lack of appreciation. When you cook, when you have a supervisor that's like pretty much overly aggressive, a narcissist, gaslights you and blow smoke up your ass when he wants you because he wants you to help him. Mm-hmm. And then you turn back around, you doing your shit, and people, the guests are complimenting you to him, and he's not taking that compliment and not realizing that if I do a good job, you look good.
That's a fact.
If I do a good job, you look good. And instead of just shutting up and just letting people do their job or letting me do my job, you want to say stupid shit. Well, you ain't supposed to. If you make this motherfucker, you don't know how to make soup, so you buy canned soups. I told them I don't do canned soups. I do scratch soup from scratch. I do soup from scratch. Well, you ain't got to season no canned soup. I said, what the fuck? What?
Busting out the cables. He busts out the cables. Yo, let me get a case of chunky. What y'all want, vegetable beef? Y'all want vegetable beef or y'all want chicken rice?
You ordered frozen soup, and then when I didn't, don't you know you're supposed to put water in the other container and then put the frozen soup in a pot and then fill that container up that had the frozen soup in it and put water in it and then fill it up? I said, so you yelling at me across the kitchen because I didn't do the frozen soup right? And I don't cook frozen soup. I do soup from scratch.
Okay. So, all right. So when you was in school, I know you got good grades. I just know that from the schools you went to. Yeah. So, damn, I don't even know if I can ask you this question because everybody who went to Greenfield got good grades.
Shit.
But it had to be somebody there that was slacking off and got C's.
Yeah, you knew who it was.
Okay. So if the students that weren't really living up to the expectations that were asked of them. Okay, or if they were being disruptive, or just acting like little knuckleheads or whatever. Did you ever feel like, well, why am I busting my ass in here, making sure that I'm studying, doing well on tests, making sure that my projects are turned in on time and that they good, and you know what I'm saying? Like I'm here I am easily going to get into Central. Why am I doing all of this when such and such is, they just fucking around and shit, and they be happy just going to Southern.
Right. Damn.
Yeah, that's a hell of a drop, ain't it? You went from Greenfield to where?
I went from Greenfield to Bach just because of the trade.
No, I'm just saying, like imagine going you going to from Greenfield to South Philly High. Like you can't. Now I'm sure somebody has done that shit. Like, my cousins they all went to Southern. I wanted to go to school with my cousins.
Well, that's what happened to my niece. My oldest niece was got skipped twice.
Okay.
But see, her work ethic is not that she couldn't do the work. Her behavior is what took her from the school she was at, her middle school, and took her to Orton Reed.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
That's how you pronounce that?
Girls High or Central.
Wait, that's how you pronounce that? Yo, for years, I've been like, what? I'm thinking that shit say Orton Ride. Like, what's this shit say? Orton. How you pronounce it? Orton Reed. That's what.
Orton Reed.
I swear to God, I couldn't figure that shit out for nothing. I'm like, what is this shit? Freeze dried? I don't know. Motherfuckers just be, putting extra letters. They can't figure out something.
And it took you to there. And she went over there and got skipped. And graduated at age, 16? Close to 15, 16? Mm-hmm. Her last year, she just was going in just to pretty much work the year out. So your work ethic means a lot. Even this is the stuff that when you were a kid, you learn. Just because other people doing what they doing, don't mean you, like my middle son. One time, I had to come up to the school and the teacher said to him, why you don't do the work? I asked him in front of the teacher, Why you don't do the work why you keep forgetting to do your homework and this, that, and other? He said, because I don't want to do it because it's too easy. I said, what? I said, if it's that easy, then do it.
Mm.
And throughout his school years, he it was to him, it was easy. You doing the bare minimum, and what pissed him off the most that when the graduation time came, you wasn't getting no certificates because you didn't listen to me or your mother, especially me, telling you your work ethic and your word is what's the most important. As a man, your word is your bond, but your work ethic is going to carry you through life and take you to the next level of what you want to do, and how you're going to be, and how much money you're going to make, and how people perceive you, and how your upbringing is. Today's people don't understand that what you do at jobs is a reflection on your upbringing. They think it just has nothing to do with them. No. It's a reflection on who brought you up. You know what I mean? And when you walk around and you see this, even with all that, there's no appreciation from it. You know, everybody thinks that this is what you're supposed to do. No, if I go above and beyond, I'm not asking you to walk around and kiss my ass, but damn, thanks, I appreciate it. People understand the word thanks and being appreciated can carry you a whole way. And you can get a lot from a person when you say thanks, I appreciate you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of people do not conduct themselves with that magnitude. You know what I mean? They don't do that. They sit back and assume he's supposed to do it. He's in the kitchen working. He's supposed to do this. He's supposed to do that. And when other cooks around you can outcook them, right? It gets to the point that they don't want you doing certain jobs because they know that if you do that job, it's going to show them up, and people will be patting you on the back and look at them like they're a piece of shit. I mean, no, you're not supposed to never dumb yourself down to the level of what other people are doing. You do what you got to do. Oh, you ain't going to do it? I got it. Especially when you love doing what you do for a living. I love being a chef. I love the culinary industry.
Hold on a second. I wanted to talk about something, because sometimes, like in the hospitality business, it literally is your job to be as hospitable as possible and to be as accommodating as possible.
Right.
But a lot of people don't understand that your salary, your base salary, won't reflect the job that you do.
There you go.
So if they don't leave tips and stuff like that, they don't understand how much that affects you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, so you know, let's say you the greatest waitress or waiter ever. You know, you never let no drinks go below half a cup. You know what I mean? Half a glass or whatever. Everybody, food is always hot. All condiments are already, always there. This is a good supply of napkins. Somebody drop a fork or a knife or a spoon or any other utensil. You making sure that everything is fresh. You've been making sure you drop by. You're personable. You know, you took care of everybody that night. Family, let's say a party of 4. And the motherfuckers leave you like a $5 tip. The bill might have been eating and drinking and having a good time. So the bill was high. So let's say the bill was let's say, I don't know, party of 4, y'all drinking. Let's say it was 300. 300 bill, and you left them and you left like a $20 or $30 tip. It's like, they might not understand that, like, it's not sufficient for what the bill is and how much they're not going to get, because not all restaurants allow the waiters to collect all of the tips. I know restaurants where they do that, all tips get divided amongst everybody. That shit ain't right.
Yeah, at the end of the shift, you pull it in. Yeah. I worked there before, like the place like that. I used to be a food server too, a waiter.
Okay. Well,
So, I mean, I understand where you're coming from with that. But see, the thing about it is, and people need to understand this. You can be the best at customer service or in hospitality, but some people might not have it that day.
Right.
Even though they might have paid, everybody might have pulled in to pay that tab. Even though it's a $300 bill, right? If they leave you $20 or $30, you can't get mad at that.
You can't get mad at it, but if it's $20 or $30 on a 300, first of all, on if they only spent $100, then $20 or $30 is sufficient.
Would be suffice. It suffice, yes.
But on 300, it's not.
It's not. But the thing about it is that you can't question other people's pockets, and they know what they're doing.
Okay.
9 times out of 10, when a person does that, either they know what they're doing or they don't have that money, that back money from it.
A lot of people just don't tip. A lot of people don't.
There's a lot of people that don't tip.
Yeah, they just don't understand. They don't understand or care how it works. So in that regard, they are just telling you, well, yeah, that's your job. Yeah, you made sure that we were taken care of. Yeah, that's your job. Well, hold on. Let me just finish.
All right.
So, do you think that if I gotta split these tips with everybody else, you think I'm gonna be the best waiter here? You think I'm gonna keep doing this shit? Regardless,
some people.
I'm just saying.
I'm gonna give you your answer.
So the other waiters that you gotta chase down, get a bullhorn, go ask for the manager and all of that kind of shit. They still get the same amount. They still get the breakdown at the end of the night. Meanwhile, here I am, super waiter, and I'm getting shitted on. Now I'm gonna have a talk with with management about how this goes. Now, because I'm thinking like I don't want to be snitching on nobody or nothing like that, but I'm busting my ass and everybody else is just basically coasting. So they basically riding my back. I'm like MC Hammer. Yeah, they dancing and all of that, but everybody is looking at me when it's time to get paid. All right. And when the money wasn't there, everybody mad at me. Okay. Well, you won't be real mad at me now, because now I'm about to be average. I'm not gonna be trying to be batting 1,000 out this motherfucker when everybody else is cool, batting 200.
With the bare minimum, just doing the bare minimum and getting money out the pool.
Yeah. Now it might not make me feel good to not do a real good job, but I can't be coming in here and giving my all day, night after night after night, day after day after day, and I'm getting nothing. Mm-hmm. I'm getting nothing. I gotta divide it amongst motherfuckers that are only giving maybe 30%, and I'm up here. I'm getting at least an A- every night.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, man. I mean, don't treat me like that's the least you could do as the owner or something like that. Throw me a little something under the table. You know what I mean? Make sure that like I ain't gonna tell nobody, but if you want me to keep doing my job, and plus, when a waiter is good, it's just like people will follow a good waiter like they follow a good bartender. Mm-hmm. So I'm bringing business in. Motherfuckers want to get served by me. So you know what I mean? When they know that I'm working here, if I'm working at Four Seasons, or if I'm working at Roof Chris, or if I'm working at what's the place or 15th and Chestnut?
Right up, Ritz Carlton.
No, you know the where the movies where the movies used to be.
The W Hotel.
No, the steakhouse, John. Everybody,
You talking about the leader begin with B.
Yeah, that. Yeah, yeah. They gonna come wherever I am. You know what I'm saying? So I'm bringing you business. So it would pay to pay me. Don't give me the pool. And a lot of times, some jobs they shit on that. They be stealing from that tip jar. You know what I mean? I've known I know one restaurant that shall remain unnamed where they don't even.
You talking about Del Frisco?
Yeah, Del Frisco. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And yeah, man, it's a sad state of affairs. You should be rewarded for a good job.
A lot of people, if they, my situation when I worked at the Sheraton Suites, right? It's like this. I used to be a food server or a waiter, and what happens is being at the work in all the areas in culinary. I've learned that, like, when I work in the kitchen, if I send the steak out and it's supposed to be medium, and by the time it got to the table, it became medium well, then I'm going to make that steak over again and take it out to the table myself, because I'm not trying to affect the bottom line of the waiter. See, a lot of people understand that you have to give when you're doing in front of the house and you're being a waiter, you have to give 110% of yourself because you're working for tips. You have to. Every table can be a drop off. So it's people that come down there. Like one time, I had a table of 8, and 5 was getting steaks. So now I'm in the kitchen and I have to do 5 steaks. And do the other three because the cooks I got in the kitchen, them cooks ain't cooking. They don't know how to cook. They think that them things ain't thinking. They don't know how to do them things.
Mm-hmm.
So after I do all that, and we send them out, we give them the best service ever. I go out to the table, check up with them, ask them to cut to their steak, make sure it's to their temperature, it tastes good, it do that, this, that, and the other. And then when I turned back around, when they left, they didn't leave the server a tip. And the server was pissed off. But when you got 7 or 8 people, you get a gratuity anyway. But they still pissed off at the fact that the gratuity don't match the amount of money they spent.
Mm-hmm.
And I can understand that. But see, these weren't American people. These were people from Russia. So we don't know if they think that to them this is your job to do.
If they was from Russia,
not have an understanding of that.
If they was Russian, more than likely they didn't like black people, and they but they had a bunch of money.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's that. That's them old weapons trade and diamond trade money. You know what I'm saying? Like, but this is the whole essence of the whole thing.
But you right about what you said. Tip shows appreciation.
What I'm saying is, when people treat you like it's just your job to do a good job, it's going to affect your willingness to do a good job.
Yeah,
it could. It may not all the time, but it could. After a while, you're going to say enough is enough. What's the use in me getting all A's if I'm being treated like somebody who gets C's?
Yeah.
What's the point? So you mean to tell me if I get C's, then we still get the pizza party. We still get the go on field trips or have class outside or whatever, so effort is not really required or appreciated here. So the only reason I gotta get A's is so my mom and them don't get pissed off at me. But it holds no weight in this classroom. Okay. All right. Well, guess what? What's going to happen? I'm going to let my mom, my dad know. See if I'm still in this class. Something tells me I'm about to get moved up. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to be in these advanced classes where these kids is getting it. You know what I'm saying? And it happened. I know it happened to me when I was in school. Like, all right, well, and I wasn't even complaining. But they saw like, oh wait, when you are gifted or when you above average or whatever, you don't stay with the rest of the kids, from the projects. Shout out to the projects, but a couple of stars emerged out of the projects, but a lot of them kids was disruptive. You know what I mean? And you're not supposed to have kids with potential having to drown in those. It's like with flowers in the garden, you want to keep the weeds out because they sucking up all the oxygen. So it's hard for the good plants to yeah, exactly. So, in a classroom, the weeds are the bad kids, the disruptive kids, or the kids who don't want to learn or it's harder for them to learn. They are slowing down the learning track. Not cool. So it ain't just your job as a student to just keep on doing well or to put up with that shit. Any teacher or any school official knows, no, we got to fix this situation. That ain't cool. You know what I mean? We don't have to put the slower kids in an LD or nothing, but what we have to do is we'll develop this magnet program for the advanced kids. Easy peasy. So but being treated like it's just your job when you're going over and above the call of duty, when you're exceeding expectation. I'm not talking about like that shit that T.O. did.
I knew you were going to say it. I knew it.
Because I didn't feel like he outplayed his contract. You know what I mean? He wanted out of San Fran. Why? Because he was having problems because he can't get along with a quarterback. That was the bottom line. He can't get along with quarterbacks. So anybody who's throwing him the ball, he got problems with him. So he brought that same energy here, and I knew he would. You know what I mean? But anyway, the bottom line is this is not a situation with him where he feels like he did so much better than everybody else that he should, in his first year of a contract, he should demand a contract. He should have gave them a chance to extend them. They was into that. You know what I mean? But it goes the way it goes. He didn't want to exercise any patience. All right, cool. Really should have just held out. You know what I mean? But shit goes the way it goes. And
but I'm gonna tell you what's going to happen, and I'm not trying to get off your subject. What's going to happen is Donovan and I'm gonna go through something one time, and you know what he's gonna bring up? He's gonna bring up. See how Joe Burrow stuck his neck out for T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, and how he got them their money? That's the same way I wanted Donovan to stick out his neck from me.
Okay.
He's going to say that. You're going to hear him say that.
Okay.
Mark my word.
Here's the thing. Just like when he was playing in Philly, the front office is to blame. Not Donovan McNabb. Yeah, Donovan stuck his neck out for Brian Westbrook before. But he should have done that. Because Brian Westbrook was not getting paid the kind of money that T.O. was getting paid. Right. And he had a relationship with with Brian Westbrook. He ain't really had no relationship with T.O. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is with Joe Burrow, he cut his salary or whatever. He stuck his neck out for Jamar Chase and what's the other boy name? Anyway, yeah. He stuck his neck out for them to their detriment because it's their defense they need to fix, not their fucking offense. Their offense didn't have no problems. It was the defense. The defense wasn't stopping nobody. You saw how they looked when they played us. We played them. So it's not the same situation. You know what I mean? You got a whole different set of problems that you got to deal with. But okay, regardless of all of that,
every time I'm gonna tell you what I do in the kitchen. When I'm in the kitchen and I know about food and I put everything out in the kitchen and I'm doing above and beyond, I say out loud so my supervisor here. Yo, I done outplayed my rookie contract today. It's time to renegotiate this shit. And I say that out loud because some people, like one time, my supervisor, I don't never call this guy a chef where I work at. I call him a supervisor because you're not a chef. In order for me to call you a chef, you need to show me something. You need to show me you can burn. Show me you can burn, bro. Show me a plate presentation. Show me something that you put out there that somebody said, ooh, this is delicious. But then when I sit back, and he was like, damn, why you always complimenting yourself? I said, because I'm my best critic for me. I'm going to pat me on the back. In the words of T.O., I love me some me. I have to love me in this kitchen. Because if I'm doing something great, you might find a flaw in it. If my soup is delicious, and you don't have an understanding as a chef, you should know that if you make a soup and you put it out on the line in a bain-marie, a hot bain-marie, while it's sitting in that hot bain-marie, the steam is going to evaporate some of the soup out, and it's going to make it taste salty at some point in time. Therefore, you got to add water to it.
Okay,
so on the salt intake, you should know that, but you don't want to know that.
Hold on, break that down. Break that down into that just being treated like you just doing your job.
Yeah, it breaks down into me just doing my job. So when people don't pat you on the back, you have to pat your own self on the back. You understand what I'm saying? And when people are not doing your job, you still got to be who you are. You are who you are. And so if people don't tip you, you still got to be the person that you are. You can be disgruntled behind the scenes. But don't be disgruntled out on the floor into that guest because, number one, that's going to be ground for termination. And it's also going to show the other guest the type of person you are. So behind the scenes, you can sound like the Tasmanian devil be pissed the fuck off.
Okay.
But when you go back out there, you still got to be that person.
Is it okay, in your opinion, to accept the role of just doing your job?
No, it's not. That's the thing that pissed me the fuck. Because I know you work at Disney Union, ain't it?
No.
Well, it's places that people work at that they do just their job. If you ask them to go something beyond their job, they say, well, that's not my job.
No. Let me make sure you understand what I'm asking. Because the topic is being treated like you're just doing your job. But I'm asking you, what happens when you are used to being treated like you're just doing your job? So even though you know that other people have not put in the effort or the work or the kind of pain that you've been putting in or that you put in, you've been doing it for so long, you're like on autopilot.
Right.
So even you're not asking for more when you should have been getting more.
Right.
So you have accepted this contract so everybody else can get paid. It's sort of like, you know, even though this is a reach of an example, but Jordan was never one of the highest paid basketball players in the league until the very end. He always kept a regular salary so you could build the team around him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because he didn't care because he was getting that Nike Air money.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm sure at some point, especially with his ego, he had to look around the league like, so you paying Karl Malone all his money?
Mm-hmm.
And he ain't gonna win a ring as long as I'm here. And he didn't. You paid Barkley this money? Really? You paying God damn it, Patrick Ewing. You paying Patrick Ewing? For what? What you paying him for? What you paying? How many? What kind of ring he got? If the only ring he got is he went to Gold Nugget Jewelers and got a ring, but he ain't got no. Jacob the Jeweler, whoever the fuck he can get a ring from, he ain't getting no ring. He ain't getting no championship ring.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And a bunch of other cats. But Michael Jordan his ego also made him so competitive that evidently he didn't give a fuck.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it could have went a totally different way.
Mm-hmm.
But he was used to being treated like it was just his job. Well, we know if it's Michael Jordan, we gonna get 85 to 100% every night. That's what, even if he got the flu.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, what about these situations? Is it okay? Is it okay for you to just accept the role of being expected to just be doing your job, even though as time passes, you're really losing a lot of money?
Right.
I mean, who's to say how much after he got his first ring? Who's to say how much he could have commanded after that?
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to, then after the second one in a row? Who going to tell him no? No about what? What's the question again?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
And after the third one, they should have just been offered it to
him. How about after the fourth one?
Because
who? He literally didn't get the money until after the sixth one.
But the thing about it is
wait, man,
that
I might be wrong. He might have got it around the fourth or the fifth.
Yeah, but the thing about it though, his upbringing, his work ethic was what he understood. Plus, his bottom line was the endorsements: McDonald's, Gatorade, Nike, the Jordan brand. So I mean, all that comes to a different. It brings it to a different level. So he knew his bottom line. All right, well, if I got to dumb down my salary here, I'm going to get more compensation outside this. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe he thought that way, and maybe he didn't. I know. For me, I'm like, wherever I go, we're going to set the price there.
Right.
I'm not going to let you get in my pockets. Like, all right, well, since you making all of this over there, you should give us a hometown discount over. What? What are you talking about? No, I'm gonna get paid over there, and I'm gonna get paid here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Who can deny that Michael Jordan made Nike a champion?
Yes.
So you a champion for the Bulls, and you a champion for Nike? Mm-hmm. Yet you let the Bulls tell you like, well, all right, listen, man, you know what I mean? If you give us a little discount, you know what I mean?
I don't even think the Bulls did that. I think that it was his decision based on how you just set up there and put it out there that he wanted them to build around him, and he had the understanding that if I take them big contracts, they can't build around me. They can't bring in Dennis Rodman. or bring in Tony Kukoc or other players
They
that can,
didn't.
or pay off Scottie Pippen.
But see,
So,
that's the thing. Nobody was worth what Jordan was worth.
well, I mean,
And
let
look,
me put it to you like
and
this.
hold on. Look at the Lakers. They gotta pay everybody historically. Everybody who go on the Lakers gets paid. There are no discounts on the Lakers. It wasn't like Kobe was taking was balling on the low because so Shaq could get paid, and vice versa. It wasn't happening like that.
But you also, but at the end of the day, right? That's a whole different. That's a different area when you're talking about Michael Jordan, you know, and plus he's not considering that if he did what we're talking about right now, that's the only thing he did for the betterment of him because he doesn't give outside of himself, and that's a known fact. He doesn't talk about number one. He doesn't give himself to causes that's going to mess up his brand.
We know all of that. That's why I'm not even going into all of that. I'm just talking about where his star was.
What I'm saying to you is that if it doesn't benefit his bottom line, he's not going to go outside that realm. So that's benefited his bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
If we want to say that, him taking that pay cut and not overwhelming the team with finances.
I don't think that the Bulls was hurting for no money when Jordan was there. I don't think so.
Well, you know so how do you think that they just gave him that he gave them the hometown price?
Well,
or do you think they went there from come on now? Is it possible? Can we just give you this amount?
I'm not sure how exactly it played out, but I know that at the end of his career, he was getting $30 million a year. So they had to do that. You understand what I'm saying? And that was sort of like compensation for all of the years when he wasn't getting paid. Because when you look at the Bulls didn't have a team full of superstars. Dennis Rodman is not a superstar. He was great on defense, but he wasn't a superstar. Was he visible? Yes. But superstars score, and he don't. So yeah, he gonna get you 30 boards a night, and that's great. But wasn't nobody giving him no $10 million a year for that. So, but whatever, because of the revenue that Jordan brought to the Bulls, it wasn't nobody they couldn't pay. Nobody.
Look and see how much Dennis Rodman was making when he came to Chicago.
Whatever it was. Remember, he won the first 3 championships without Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
Dennis Rodman didn't come into the last 2. He won the 4th without Dennis Rodman. So, yeah, I mean, like, it wasn't like, oh, we can finally win again because we got Dennis Rodman. It wasn't like that. And Scottie Pippen, for all his worth, no disrespect, but he wasn't a superstar. He was a good player, but he proved that he wasn't a superstar because he couldn't win shit when Jordan wasn't there. It's a whole different story. Now, you could argue and flip it and say that, well, Jordan didn't win no championships without Pippen either. Well, you can sell. Listen, look, if somebody would buy that, sell it to him. But Pippen stayed in the league after Jordan was gone, and he had a superstar. He had a superstar roster when he was with the Houston Rockets, right?
Portland Trailblazers.
Was it Portland?
I think it was Portland.
Yeah, it couldn't have been Houston.
What'd you say?
I said, yeah, it couldn't have been Houston. That was Olajuwon's area. When they had Barkley and all, maybe it was Portland. When they had Barkley and all them players and all those they was kind of aging, you know what I'm saying? but they were supposed to be guaranteed to win.
Dennis Rodman earned his first season with Chicago. He earned $9 million.
Okay.
And the next season, he made $4.6 million.
Come on, man, chump change. For what they was bringing in, chump change. Man, unrestricted free agent. Should I say, undrafted free agent probably get $4 million in the NBA now. You slip and fall into $4 million now and shit, you know. But bottom line, all I'm saying is this: you know, you could take on the role as just doing your job, and if you okay with that, fine. But I don't think that should be given to you. That's all I was really saying. Ask O'Neal if he's mentally okay.
He's right. He's making $33.1 million.
Who?
Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I remember when he got paid. Cause it was like, damn, you just getting paid.
And at that time, it was a record-breaking $33.1 million.
And it was still a slap in the face if you ask me. Like, man, for all the money, he brought them billions.
Yeah.
Billions.
But see, let's just think about it like this. Because I think that the wages he was getting paid before he got the $33.1 million were record-breaking then. And when he broke his own record with the $33.1 million. So the wages is not as expensive back then as they are now. Mm-hmm. So I think that at that time he was already getting paid top dollar, the highest paid player in the NBA.
He was
at a certain point.
He was, you know,
but it's not they couldn't give him much more, but he was the highest paid player.
This is what you got to look up. How much was he getting paid before he broke the record? That's what we need to know. Because that's where it get nasty. And then right after that, we gonna do these birthday shout outs and get the fuck out about it. Mm-hmm. It's late.
Okay, yeah, I forgot. Give me 1 second.
Hurry up, you Google master. You Google master. You hurry up. You look up. You look up. You look up salary. You say Michael Jordan went from such a salary to 33 million a year. How much he getting?
So we went he made $30.1 million per season up until the record-breaking season,
which was
in his 96-97. He made from all the other seasons when he did his first repeat. After he won his second championship, he was making $30.1 million
a year.
A year.
Huh.
And then
something don't sound right.
96-97 season, he made $33.1 million.
All right, hold on. Let me check this out. What was Michael Jordan's salary in 1992?
Oh no! I got it here, Carl.
It was $3.2 million. In the 1991-92 NBA season, Michael Jordan's salary was $3.25 million.
Yeah, I'm seeing it right now.
Yeah.
And it was $4 million. Then he earned $4 million in this gap year. Then he didn't make $33.1 million.
This is fucking disgusting. It's disgusting. This is fucking disgusting. This is disgusting. This boy is working for peanuts. He should have been out there selling shirts. Real shit.
They should out there selling shirts.
He should have been out there selling shirts. I mean, hey, that says it all. All right, man, let's get on out of here. I appreciate you calling in, as usual. Want you to have a good night. All right, we'll be back tomorrow with another banger. All right, man.
Definitely, I appreciate the conversation, man. Much love to the live stream. Always a pleasure.
Without a doubt, man. Have a good night.
All right, man.
All right. All right, we have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious March 25th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special, because they are special, because they are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They get number one out the box. Straight out of Penn State. We go all the way back to 1989. My girl, Carla Smith Clanagan, and also Sean Mays and Joyce Amambo. Amambo. It's African. Okay, and also Adieme Bola Ajoke, and also Taisha Bernard. And last but not least, my man Winston V. Watson. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all in good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious March 25th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on into the damn, the rock out, rock on and do the damn rock out, rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, you remember when I wasn't getting paid and I felt like I was getting disrespected and kind of played, but I had to step my game up and I said, I ain't gonna be ashamed, pups. I'm the big dog. Yeah, I'm floating down the water like a big log. I'm making dams. I'm stopping all that bullshit that you're trying to do, all run and scam. Y'all understand my name is O, and I'ma do what I gotta do, but I ain't getting played, yo. But I make sure I getting paid, though, and it's gonna go like this, malleable like Play-Doh. Yeah, mold it and shape it, and then you can record it and make sure you tape it. Get that shit on video. Make sure that you get with this shit. It's like a bid, yo. Hey, if you bet on me, you gonna win a couple of dollars. You'll see. I'm a parlay. Yo, make sure that you play that card today. But if you just take on the role somebody that do this shit because you're from the soul, it ain't nothing like being from the heart, but you gotta make sure you get respected from the start. Respect might not pay the bills, but one day you get the money that you deserve, so it might will. I know you're not supposed to talk like that, but sometimes I do the hood shit and I chase the cat. What's you talking about? The bar's still right. I'm gonna make sure we do this thing tonight. My might is something that I always have to build up. Like I'm like stargaze as I look up to the sky and wonder why I'm here like this. I said, I could have been on a whole different path and be counting the years in jail instead of math. But I know that I could do like something that nobody ever knew. So don't make me have to screw or feel like I'm getting screwed. Yo, listen, dude. You got your thing, I got mine. We can still be like stars up in the sky and shine. Don't try to outshine my light because I still got a lot of other stars in the middle of the night. Everything is going to be good. As long as we get this thing understood. You got yours and I got mine, and I'm gonna make sure that I don't take your kind. Yeah, I ain't gonna take kindness for weakness, but I'm going to win that shit just like Preakness. Going for a trip, count when I come around. Yo, find a shorty, pull the old panties down. Make a little something happen. I ain't trying to make a baby, but I'm trying to drive shorty crazy. What you know about that? What you know about this? What you know about making the top of the list? Trying to make sure that you got to start rising. Yo, I'm like Andre Rising, but I ain't get my house burnt down by no left eye. I ain't that kind of guy. Everything's gonna be cool. I was young boy trying to cut the fool, cutting school, chase girls, trying to make sure that I fucked up my world. Still had the good stuff in me, the home training. Couldn't get away from that shit. Still gaining. I want to right behind the leader, but I was got in front because that was what I want. Stunts, just like Evil Knievel, trying to make this shit good, triumph over the evil. You don't always win, but you got to get off to a good start. Let's begin. I'll begin to say my rhymes, and I'll be thinking that I got to multiply this 2 times. I was in the 3rd grade. I mastered them 5 times table, got it made. 5 times 5, 25, 5 times. 5 times 1 is 5, 5 times 2 is 10, 5 times 3, 15. Let me begin. 5 times 4 is 25 times 5 is 25, 5 times 6 is 30. Understand it's funny. 5. Okay, anyway. All right, let's go. I'll let y'all, man. Yo. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all. Love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow night at 2 a.m. Make sure y'all come through. Yo, peace to my people's West. What's good? And what's that? Utah's? I don't know what that shit say. But it's no disrespect. And Boar Moon. Thank y'all for coming through. Buttercup 25, Cheryl Halsey, T Carry Right, more than noon and night. Appreciate all of y'all coming through. I do. My allergies are acting a fool and it's already too late. All right, man. Oh, let me see the results of the poll question. All right. Poll question was, do you keep working with the same energy when you are the only one trying hard? 37% says yes. I keep the same energy. 30% says no, I'll match the average energy. 22% says I work hard for myself, not others. And 11% says I do more no matter what. And that was 27 people on the votes, and that's cool. Make sure y'all hit the like button, share the show, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. All right, man. I'm going to say good night from where I stood right. Holla back, yo. Much respect. Yo, don't let nobody that's cornball come at your neck.